हेलो एवरीवन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। उम्मीद करता हूँ आप लोग खैरियत से होंगे। तो दोस्तों, आज हमारा न्यूयॉर्क में है 5वां दिन और आज हमारा प्लान है कि आज हम वाशिंगटन डीसी का टूर लगाएं। वाशिंगटन डीसी में जितने भी मतलब आइकॉनिक्स जो बिल्डिंग्स हैं, जैसे वाइट हाउस है और कैपिटल वो बिल्डिंग है, और इनके जो जो अमेरिका में जितनी अट्रैक्शंस हैं वाशिंगटन डीसी में, वो हम आज देखने जा रहे हैं वाशिंगटन डीसी। तो अभी बज रहे हैं सुबह के 4:30। यहाँ ही न्यूयॉर्क में ही मैनहट्टन होटल है, वहाँ से हमारा पिकअप पॉइंट है, वहाँ से हमें बस लेके जाएगी। तकरीबन कोई 12-13 घंटे का सफ़र है और फिर वापस यहीं न्यूयॉर्क टाइम स्क्वायर में आके छोड़ देगी। 12-13 घंटे का सफ़र, टोटल सफ़र मैं बता रहा हूँ कि हम वहाँ जाएंगे, वहाँ पहुँचने में कोई 4 घंटे लगते हैं अराउंड, और फिर वहाँ से हम अट्रैक्शन जो भी है वो सब जो है वो वहाँ से फारिग हो गया, पिक्चर लेके अपनी, और फिर हम वापस तकरीबन कोई 13-14 घंटे में टोटल यहाँ पहुँच जाएंगे टाइम स्क्वायर पर। तो बस अभी निकल रहे हैं। बहुत ठंड है, टेम्परेचर बता तो रहा है 3 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, लेकिन फील्स लाइक -1 है। तो मेरे लिए तो ये बहुत ज़्यादा है, क्योंकि हम पाकिस्तानियों को इतनी आदत है ही नहीं कभी कि इतने टेम्परेचर में हम लोग ने कभी ज़िंदगी गुजारी हो। तो मेरा तो फर्स्ट टाइम है इतने कम टेम्परेचर पे। तो और रात में आधी रात भी हो रही है और जो है वो अभी बस निकलना है। इससे पहले अगर आपने मेरा कल का व्लॉग नहीं देखा, कल मैंने विज़िट किया था सेंट्रल पार्क, तो अगर आपने वो व्लॉग नहीं देखा तो वो देख लो, क्योंकि सेंट्रल पार्क में मैंने एग्जैक्ट वही लोकेशन जो है आप लोग को दिखाई है जो कल हो ना हो मूवी में शाहरुख खान ने जो डांस किया था कल हो ना हो का। तो वही लोकेशन मैंने आपको सेंट्रल पार्क में कल दिखाई है। तो कल का व्लॉग अगर नहीं देखा तो काइंडली ये कार्ड आ रहा है ऊपर, इस पे क्लिक करके कल का व्लॉग देख लो और मेरे सारे व्लॉग्स देख लो न्यूयॉर्क के। भाई बड़े मुश्किलों से व्लॉग बना रहा हूँ, क्योंकि यहाँ इतनी ठंड है, मोबाइल हाथ में पकड़ा ही नहीं जा रहा, बर्फ़ हो जाता है हाथ। और ग्लव्स में आपको पता है, फिर ग्लव्स पहनो तो मेरे मोबाइल यूज़ ही नहीं कर सकता बंदा। तो मेरे सारे न्यूयॉर्क के व्लॉग चेक कर लो, इंशाल्लाह आपको अच्छे लगेंगे। और अच्छे लगे तो वीडियो को लाइक ज़रूर करो और शेयर ज़रूर करो, और काइंडली इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करो यार। ये आप फजर के टाइम का टाइम स्क्वायर देखें, बिल्कुल खाली है, कोई भी नहीं है टाइम स्क्वायर, इक्का दुक्का लोग दिख रहा है। बस है, ये इतने सारे लोग हैं। चलो अब वापस
I would let you sleep. Don't worry about it. I just want to introduce myself and let you know just a little bit about what we are going to be doing today. Okay? So my name is Juanita. I'll be your tour guide for the day, and our driver today is Mario. So anything that you may need, we are the people who you can reach at any moment. So as you know, we are going to Washington DC, and in order to get to Washington DC, it is more than 200 kilometers, so it is going to take us approximately like 4.5 hours to get there. And the idea will be that it will be on the bus, but I know it's a long trip. That's why in about 2.5 hours we'll be making a stop for you also to have some coffee, and next time that I say good morning it will be louder, right? So after the breakfast time, in front of us to the right will be Wilmington in Delaware. If we look far to our right, we'll see a skyline of a city. That will be Philadelphia. That city is about like 40 minutes away from here, but that is also in a different state. That will be Pennsylvania. We are now crossing this river, and this river was actually very important during the times of the independence of the U.S. This river was crossed by George Washington in 1776. By the time that the whole American Revolution was starting, he crossed this river in order to attack the English that were located in the state of New Jersey. So he used it as a place where he would do a surprise attack to the English. The state of Delaware is actually a small state, and if we compare with the rest of the states, it doesn't have a big population. Over here we have 1 million people, and for example in New York State we have 19 million people, and in New Jersey we will have 9 million.
अभी एक सर्विस स्टेशन पे रुकी है। यहाँ पे आपने कुछ नाश्ता वाश्ता करना है, रेस्ट रूम जाना है, फ्रेश होना है तो आप बोल सकते हो।
Like in front of us, we have the dome that is going to be the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. We are going to get just closer to it. Mario will go very slow, so if you like to take a picture of Thomas Jefferson, you'll have to have your cameras ready. Thomas Jefferson Memorial is one of the Mission of Independence. He was an architect, and that's why we have such the Pentagon. You also have 5 inner pentagons. The whole idea was to have the Pentagon. There is nothing like really special about where they were actually going to place the Pentagon. It is located in Virginia because it was like the largest base that they found to have it. It was built between 1941 and 1943. We were in the middle of World War II, so what they wanted to have like 14 times, and then you'll have the actual size of this building. And the longest corridor of the Pentagon has 28 kilometers, so you can actually run half a marathon inside and have some other
ये जो पीछे आप देख रहे हैं सारी कब्रें, ये आई थिंक इनके जो है वो जितने भी आर्मी ऑफिशियल्स हैं ना इनकी होंगी। यहाँ पे भी सब कब्रें। यहाँ पे जो है ये नज़र नहीं आ रहा, इनकी कब्रें हैं। आई थिंक ये सारे जो हैं वो इनकी हिस्ट्री से रिलेटेड होंगे। आग जल रही है ताकि उनकी जो सुकून मिले। तो आपने देखा होगा बहुत दफ़ा। ये इनकी सेमेट्री है, ठीक है। देखिए आप, ऑनर एंड मेमोरी of the men of the United States Marine Corps who have given their lives of their country.
Gate Hotel. Does that ring a bell? Anyone remember Nixon? The whole scandal, the Pentagon Papers, all of that. Well, everything started there. Why? Because Nixon, he wanted to know if the walls could whisper, what would they say? And after it was a huge Georgetown. Georgetown was part of the colony of Maryland. It was actually a town right before Washington, D.C. was created. So Georgetown has nothing to do to George Washington. It was actually named Georgetown because of the King George II. If you look at the architecture around, it looks kind of this one on your left. This was built in 1756. It's called the Old Stone House, and the reason is because it's just an old and it is made out of stone, right? And the thing is that that is the only house that has the original foundations all the way from the 1756. You can go inside, you can only go to the first floor, right? Because it has the original foundations from like many hundreds of years ago. And you can see and look a little bit around and to know a little bit more about the whole history of Washington, D.C. So in Georgetown, as I mentioned, we have many of the politicians. They will work in the downtown, but then they will be living over here. It is nicer. For example, John F. Kennedy, when he was there, we have a lot of restaurants, a lot of like beautiful places for the people who live there. We also have another road that is very popular, is known as Embassy Road. Over there, as the name will say, will have more than 35 different embassies. Before 1929, it was called the Millionaires Row. But what happened in 1929? The Great Depression, right? So many of the owners, they didn't have in my country. Colombia has also the embassy in that place. So we have many of them. And it is a beautiful place because it's filled with mansions. For example, we have the oldest and also the newest embassy in that road. That will be the Cuban embassy. You remember the whole missile crisis in the 1960s? So in 1961, that was the time when they closed the Cuban embassy because of the whole crisis around the country, right? John F. Kennedy, he was the one who did like the embargo to Cuba, and that they cut all the relationships with the country. But the thing is that John F. Kennedy, he really liked Cuban cigars. So right before the embargo, he brought around 1,200 Cuban cigars. And after that, he did the embargo. Those are the perks of being the president of the US, right? Okay, so here on our left of the bus allow us is a roundabout, and this is called the Washington Circle. Why? Because right in the middle we will have George Washington. George Washington will be looking towards the place where is the White House. That will be in that direction over there. That is one of the influence that I mentioned that we have from the French as Pierre L'Enfant. So here on your right you have a hospital, right? This hospital is part of another very important university, that is the George Washington University. Nothing to do with Georgetown. It was actually the first university made for Washington, D.C. Of course, they had to name it after the president. This university has more than 17 different faculties. One of them is medicine. That's why they have a university hospital. You remember the president Ronald Reagan? Okay, so because this is the National Academy of Science, and he will have in his notebook some of the most important formulas that he created. This National Academy of Science was popular in a movie. Anyone remember the movie? Oppenheimer? You remember him? Well, he was part of this academy too, and it was when he was in charge of the Project Manhattan. He was a member of this academy. All right. Jefferson Memorial, that is the one that we
saw this morning, and right across it we will have the White House. In between
वाशिंगटन में तो बड़ी टाइट हवा चल रही है यहाँ, बहुत ज़बरदस्त हवा है यहाँ। अभी जा रहे हैं एक और जगह देखने के लिए।